Oh, Anairis, how was it? How did you enjoy your script reads?
The reads were really fun. Like everyone has such awesome voices, really awesome voices, and a lot of them are really natural with their reads too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard to do cold reads naturally
Oh,
because sometimes you want to look over it and everything, but a lot of good instincts.
definitely, definitely. And for those for you as well as those listening that haven't been a part of our center stage, all of these are cold reads. Although we don't have a big range of scripts. We have enough that every time we do it, it's different, and every single time it is like a completely new script that you're reading because everybody voices it differently, uses another accent, tries to make it a serious instead of a funny script, or tries to make it a funny script instead of a serious one. So it's really cool, and I'm glad you enjoyed our members who come, and they come every Wednesday, and they're always here, and it's such a pleasure
That's
to have
good.
them all. Yeah, definitely. Um, and
Practice makes perfect.
definitely, that's definitely true. And Anaris, now we're gonna go ahead into our interview part. But before we go into the interview questions, I wanted to ask you if you can go a little bit more into how it's been for you writing and what you've done as a writer, because we do have a lot of writers here in our center stage Discord. Actually, for all of those writers listening, we do have a Discord channel on center stage that's hashtag writers, and there you can go ahead and showcase everything you have, including in our hashtag sharing channel. And we love to help people who are writing, and a lot of the writers talk to each other and see what they do and how they can do better at what they do. So as a writer, tell us a little bit about that.
Gosh, well, I've been writing since I was in third grade. I was writing a really silly poem about a flower, and I got some good feedback from it from my teacher. And then I started writing like novelas,
Oh my god.
or like, because my mom grew up watching, Spanish soap operas, and I listened to that all the times. And there was this
Nice.
one novela that she watched called Peregrina, and I just started writing about a lady named Peregrina, and I had my little composition notebook, and I would always write stuff. And then come middle school, my writing became less chipper and more into like angels and demons. I feel like every writer has that point where they just start writing about angels and demons. Um, I used to read a lot of fan fiction and still casually do,
Oh my
but
god, I love it. Yeah, I love fan fiction, definitely. That's
oh
one of my
yeah,
things.
yeah, fanfiction.net was the best, and
Oh my gosh,
then
yes.
Archive of Around.
I feel like if you didn't upload something to fanfiction.net, were you really a teenager? Like, what did you do?
You weren't. Oh, but it's changed so much.
It
It's like it's
has.
not the same because now it has covers for your books, and
Oh, that's
it's
crazy.
weird.
Yeah, it is.
But
I miss the old angsty writing with like 10 grammatical errors per sentence, and then you're sifting through trying to find the right fan fiction to start reading. It was fun.
yeah, and then people would have their author's notes, and then they would write like their interactions with their characters and such.
Oh,
It was so
I loved it. I
it's
loved
so
it.
cringe, but
It's cringe, but it's so
yeah,
nice because that was such a big part of our teenage lives, and I think it's
exactly.
it's really cool. So yeah, you were into fan fiction, and you were reading, and then what was your first writing? Like, what was your first thing that have you published anything yet, or is there something going that's been ongoing?
Haven't published anything yet. I think in recent years I've decided that even though I started off writing novel-esque things, I don't want to particularly publish a novel right now. I actually would rather work on making something that's visual because I think it's easier for people to digest things that have a mix of visuals and of course writing. And I appreciate that. So right now, the thing I talk about most from my many projects is Ghost. Um, that is my baby. It's supposed to be a story-driven RPG, which, yeah, I'm just slowly working on trying to figure out that game dev nonsense. But yeah, actually, let me make sure that I have a little snippet about it. But yeah, no, it's about this guider, and the guider is essentially a person, or a thing rather, that is born to guide souls to the end of the world, essentially living in this limbo, kind of like a reaper, but a much more benevolent version of it. And Ghost is one of those, and he was born to guide souls to the end of the world, and he has to accept the fact that that is his purpose, even though he's actually kind of afraid of change and death and all that stuff. So it's him struggling to accept his role and accept that, you know, everything comes to an end while going through his story. And there's a lot of things with angels and with humans, and really great music that I have Jeremiah George doing. And yeah.
That's really cool, and it's so exciting because we do have, like I said, so many writers, and I feel like it's a little fresh when a writer comes into guest night, because we definitely only I haven't met a lot of voice actors that also do writing, so it's really cool that you're doing both and you're really trying to make Ghost work, and we'll be here.
Oh yeah.
Whenever Ghost comes out, we're gonna be like, man, we spoke to Anairis Q, we spoke to the author, and we did it. So I'm excited. I'm excited. So let's go on to some questions, and our first question of the night is from Quinny, and she's asking, what is your favorite part about being a voice actress?
My favorite part of being a voice actress is being able to become a character, not just for escapism, as you need in this ever-changing world that is crazy, but also just, I don't know, there's always like a part of you that you always insert into every character that you do, and it's kind of like an exploration of that part, and I really like getting into a character's shoes, figuring out more about that character, and expanding on the character, as well as kind of learning more about myself too. So I like becoming a character, hence why I do character work more than anything. So
yeah. I feel like it's really cool when, especially when you really dig one of the characters that you're doing, and you just kind of flow with it, and that character becomes yourself in a way. Like
yeah.
Especially like I think it's really cool. Piggybacking on this, do you do method acting when you're doing your voice work? Do you start, kind of really getting into character really well? What are some techniques that you do?
It depends if it's a character that I kind of find familiar. I remember with one role that I did for Ghost Song, I was supposed to play Matilda, and Matilda was like this kind of zombie character, but she didn't want to kill, but she had to kill, and I spent a good 10 minutes, like, trying to figure out zombie sounds that weren't necessarily zombie sounds. I wanted to make it sound painful to the hearer, or to the listener rather, and I spent a good 10 minutes like trying to get into that mindset, trying to think, I don't want to do this, that this is hard, and that everything's painful, and I don't know what's going on. And yeah, I remember I sent that off to the dev, Matt White, and I sent it off without any editing, so he listened to me being a lunatic for 10 minutes, just mumbling to myself. Yeah, that's the most method acting I did, but I go into it sometimes, yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome to hear, and it's cool too, because I think method. I feel like a lot of people don't think that voice acting is a lot of acting, but we gotta do both. We gotta act like we're on stage behind a mic, and then sometimes we have people staring at us from like the other side, just looking at us as we're like talking into the microphone. So it's definitely a hard job, definitely. So let's go on to our next question. Our next question is from ZeldaFan217. We actually read with him, and He says, I don't know much about your work, but I have to
Same.
ask. Out of the scripts you've read here, what was your favorite?
I actually really liked the one with Layla, Dance and Noble. That was pretty cool, and the character gave me Danganronpa vibes.
Nice. Yeah,
But yeah,
that's
it was
such a
fun.
good. That honestly, I love the plot twist in that script so much, and the character Layla itself
Yeah,
goes from this like.
and everyone's
Uh-huh.
yeah, and everyone's performance was really great. Like everyone had their voices down to a T, and yeah, I was into it, really into it.
Awesome. Yeah, like I was saying, like the way that she goes from timid to like just badass. It's amazing.
Oh yeah,
And you did it very well
Always
too.
cool.
You were on it. You're like, oh yeah, you know, I hate no.
I'ma kill you all.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill y'all with a fork and stuff. So, let's go to the next question.
No, a spoon, make it harder.
Oh yeah, make it harder. So Nancy, G-Gal, she helps us on the back end. So for anybody who doesn't hear G-Gal, it's because she's working in backstage for us, helping everything happen so that Yenni doesn't go crazy while trying to find people to do the scripts. So Nancy asks,
It's a group effort.
yeah, it's definitely a group effort. This is a team. This is all a teamwork. And honestly, let me just tell you this real quick. I had not the biggest idea of your time in oh my goodness, hold on. I just had music start playing out of nowhere. So I never knew about the YouTube that you do with AFMouse so much, and Nancy Gigal was able to help me. She gave me like a rundown of everything. She packed 6 seasons into one paragraph for me, and then after that she packed like another 2 seasons of Phoenix Drop High, and then she talked about My Street. I was going nuts. Without her, like, definitely, I had no idea that Minecraft roleplay was getting so big, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, FMO's worked really hard on, her craft, and I've seen it grown from, just being Jess, FMO, to it being a more established company now. So yeah, it's grown so much, and it's really great.
Definitely. And, big shout out to AFMA for having over 3 million subscribers. That's craziness to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's so cool. It's definitely cool. And piggybacking on that, let's go ahead and Nancy has a question for you. What was your reaction to the My Street Season 4 Emerald Secret scripts?
I think that was about the first time that we got scripts that got really serious, outside of the normal Minecraft role plays. But yeah, it was really cool. I got the chance to really delve into Lucinda more and more, and I have to say that Lucinda is a character that, when I first played her, I wasn't too attached to her. I remember Jessa told me, just play her like sexy witch kind of character, and I did that at first. And then slowly over the course of the series, I found an attachment to her. So to the point now that, I have a very solid idea of how I would play her. I have a very solid idea of what I think is her character is, alongside with what, Afma's told me. And she's someone that a character that I've grown to really love and appreciate, and make from one-dimensional to three-dimensional. And in Emerald Secret, I got a chance to play more of her witchiness in a sort of in real life setting, as opposed to a very fantasy setting. And I remember towards the end, she starts acting evil, and it's like trying to switch her voice, but not so much, because you still want to maintain Lucinda, but it's not her, she's being possessed. So yeah, Lucinda's fun, and Emerald Secret has been fun, and the new season is being a lot of fun too. So yeah.
And it's so cool because, like you said, you grow into your character, and your character grows into you. And
Yes.
you know, the way that you go through character development as well, as a character grows, so are you, and even though she's possessed, you're growing through it with her. So I think that's when you've really
Exactly.
captured your character and your you know, your voice actor juices, when you're able to be like, you know, oh my god, like you feel, and you make this character come to life, because this character is a Minecraft character, and she has,
Yeah.
you know, you have so many fans, as you can see. um and it's
Yeah, and I'm
just
really
great.
blessed for that.
Yes, yes, it is a blessing. It is, and we're so happy to have you here. So let's go on to the next question. Actually, I just lost my place, and now I found it. So Anthony asks, what was your favorite role that you voiced?
That's always a hard question because I can't narrow it down to one role just because I love every character that I've played, and I don't know, they've all given me something, they've taught me something, they've given me the opportunity to do something different. So I can't say that I have a favorite, I just love them all. So I'm sorry I can't properly answer that
No,
question.
I feel like a lot of people, from what I've done with guests, everybody says the same thing, that they just love all their characters. It's very hard. It's very hard to pick and choose what character is your favorite, especially when, you know, you grow so into it. And you know, like,
Yeah.
talking about Lucinda, let me ask, how is it doing a series? Because, you know, this is, at one point you have very steady work, because you're definitely always going to have Lucinda work for you. So,
Oh yeah.
so how does that feel? How does it go with a series? And how are you able to, you know, put together, you know, I have to do work for my series, but I also need to have other work on the side? How does that, how do you
Exactly.
manage?
Yeah. Um, I mean, I remember at first when we started doing these scripts, I would always get the script the night of, you know, when they would edit the videos and such, because then the video would either be up the next day or like a couple days after. So it was always such a tight deadline at first. That was hard, and I remember I would get up early just to record. So a lot of my early Lucinda episodes were like my early morning voice,
Yeah.
because I'd have to get really early, and I hate getting up in the morning.
Oh, me
But
too. Me too. Me too.
yeah, I'm a night person through and through. But yeah, I guess because I expect it to happen, I expect to get a script at any time for the most part, and because my schedule isn't super tight, I can usually manage it. Sometimes something might come up and I just won't have any time to record, and I'll say straight up to Jess, hey, I can't record. She'll either, you know, wait for me until I can record, or, you know, have somebody fill in. Both of which is fine because, you know, I've been with the series since 2016. So
Wow. So
yeah,
you've definitely been there for a long time. That's awesome. That's
yeah,
awesome. You know, I think being able to be a part of a series is sort of like a breather, because you always have work. You know, you're always gonna have a steady, you know, income flow. At least steady enough. You know what I mean? Like, it's nice. It's
yeah.
nice. And let me ask you a question. So Beast Bomb asks, how did you get into the world of voice acting?
Well, I think a lot of people have a similar backstory where, well, maybe not a lot so much. So, of course, YouTube started out, and then you see all the auditions for like Sailor Moon, Fandom, or Tokyo Mew Mew. I was super into the magical girls back then, so I would, you know, I would do video responses back when we had video responses on YouTube. And, you know, audition, and it was sort of a fan dub thing, of course, for a while. And then slowly, or eventually rather, I got into the VAA, or Voice Acting Alliance, rest in peace, which definitely helped me learn a lot, grow a lot, connect with my peers, and I think I think I didn't really find an attachment to voice acting until I watched the series Fullmetal Alchemist, and I'm talking about the 2003 version
Mm-hmm.
because 2009 wasn't out yet. But yeah, I watched that, and I remember I was watching the Conqueror Shambhala, and I was listening to the commentary, and they had Laura Bailey talking about her role as Lust, and she started talking about how she played Lust and how you know she she was trying not to be sexy. I mean, she was because that was the character, but she
Right.
was trying to give it more than that. And she was talking about her process of coming up with less voice. And I was really mesmerized by that. And um, I just got into it from that, just knowing that there's a process there and listening to it and finding appreciation for that. And then slowly there was more fan dubs, and then I got into more work, and here I am.
Awesome, awesome. And it's cool that you bring up Full Metal because that's actually too where I started getting the whole, I want to be a voice actress too thing. And Lust is actually one of my favorite
Yeah.
villains ever. I love her. I thought
Oh, I love her.
she was a great villain, and actually all the villains were good in their own way. Awesome, honestly. But if we get into Metal Alchemist, we're never gonna stop. So let's keep going with the next questions. And Xander asks, Xander Relics the Vice. Wow. Okay. Yeah, right. He asks, what would be Mrs. Quinones' dream role, or else most desired series / franchise?
Oh boy.
Oh, that's a tough scene, huh?
Yeah, I mean, the classic is, oh, I want to be a Disney princess, and
Oh my god.
that Puerto Rican part is like, when you come out with the Puerto Rican princess finally,
Oh my
then
goodness,
hit me up.
yes. Yes. I really want that too. We need a Hispanic princess.
Yeah.
I mean, we have Elena, but I
And
mean,
she's not real. She's not real. She's on TV. It doesn't count.
exactly.
But I'm not so attached. I mean, I would love to be a part of anything Disney, but I'm not. That's not like the peak of my career for me. Gosh, at this point, I would say one of two things: Steven Universe, preferably as a gem, but honestly, being a part of Steven Universe would be fantastic. I love that series. I love everything that it's done to be diverse and to be positive. I love that series. And also any of Yoko Taro's work, because I really love Nier Automata. I'm a big fan of this series. So I would love to be a part of this because it would be fun.
Nice, yeah. Near does sound. Um, Let me go ahead and ask. Let's go through here and see. Who do I have next? Oh, Alex loves you. Alex loves us. She says, "Who is your idol?"
Laura Bailey. Laura Bailey, Laura Bailey, Laura Bailey.
Hashtag Laura Bailey forever.
Yeah, I gained a lot of inspiration from her. Not just, how fantastic she is as a voice actress, but also how much her career has grown. I mean, she started off doing anime, and she was doing like really, kooky, cute, comedic anime roles, and slowly got into doing video game work and some animation work, and she's just so versatile. And I really admire how far she's gone in her career, especially because at the time I didn't really think much of it, but now she kind of started off trying to maintain college with voice acting, so it's kind of relatable at this point. But I'm really in love with everything she's done, and she has such a great range, so I love her.
And it's good that you bring that up about college and about school in general and voice acting. Do you do school voice acting and work, or just school voice acting? And how do you juggle it? Because a lot of us are in that too. For example, me, I work full time, and I try as hard as I can to do voice acting as
It's
much
hard.
full time as possible. But it is hard, yeah, definitely. So how do you manage?
Um, well, I recently let go of my part-time job, mostly because a lot of personal issues, and also because it was a drive, and I don't like commute. But yeah, for the most part, though, I'm always juggling school with voice acting. That's always been a thing because I started off when I was a kid, about 10 years old. So it's like, oh yeah, high school, middle school, and now college. It's always on the side, or
Right.
rather, voice acting is always on the side. But it's at first I wasn't good at it. Like I of course I would have to prioritize school. Now, especially in college, because college is not that demanding of your time
At
like
all.
high school is.
Only in finals week.
I just kind of yeah, finals weeks, but I guess it depends this teacher you have to do because I have some teachers that were like, oh, just write a like review of this class and that's your final. And it's like, okay,
That's awesome.
that's easy.
That's awesome.
But yeah, um, I'm kind of a meticulous person. I like having schedules and to-do lists. Not so much because I'm like super OCD. It's more like I have so much going through my mind constantly that if I don't put it down on paper, I'm gonna forget something,
Right.
and it's gonna stress me out. And yeah, I'm sensitive to stress. So lately, I've just been having daily to-do lists. I keep track of deadlines and when things are due, not just for voice acting, but for school, and I kind of work my schedule around that. And if I need to have a personal day, that's fine. I think that's the big thing where you get so wrapped up between school and voiceover work that you forget to give yourself some time too.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important that if you feel like you need the time, or if you know you might need the time, to fit it in for yourself because we can't do everything. We're not superheroes, unfortunately. So
And it's good that
yeah.
you bring that up too, because I feel like most of the time, a lot of people here, we spend a lot of time auditioning, and it's constant because there's always new things to audition for. And sometimes we don't have the time, and sometimes we have all the time in the world. But time management is such an important thing that we all need to learn how to do. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, it's impossible to juggle so many things. But trying is always good. And
Exactly.
when you need a day off, you need a day off. So, actually,
Yeah.
speaking of which, speaking of juggling, so, oh my god, this is a very, very long, okay. Creziel's my superhero name, asks, how much work do you get from your own marketing versus how much comes to you from agents? And he or she puts on quotes, assuming you have agents.
Yeah, I do not have an agent. Uh, phew, hoo, hoo, hoo. I get I get a mix of work from different things. I mean, I used to do cold calls from emailing. I don't do that so much anymore because there's. I think it's not so much necessary to do that. Maybe at my current juncture because there's different outlets now. There's casting call club, there's voice acting club, and other things that are probably slipping my mind. So I don't. It's not so much like you need to go look for the work. You just kind of wait for the work to get to you, or you audition because there's lots of things to audition
Oh,
for.
definitely.
Um. duh, 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 Hmm. If anything, I got a lot of my work from Twitter, and by Twitter I mean not so much people DMing me, but it's like I'm always friendly and talking to people because that's just my
Yeah, you're
personality.
networking. You're
Uh,
networking.
yeah, it you know what? I always heard of the word networking, and I'm like, I can't network. I'm not even good at having friends. What the heck? Like, it's because I get so wrapped up in my work that it's like, oh, what? I'm terrible at talking to people. But I guess I kind of see it as not so much networking as making friends. And I have a few clients who are also friends that I never, talked to expecting voiceover work. I never thought about that. I just talked to them because, like, oh, your art's cool, or oh, your animation's cool, or oh, this is really cool video game stuff. And then eventually, like, they'll email me, and be like, hey, you want to be a part of this? And I'm like, oh, sure.
Yeah, okay
Thank
then.
you.
I'm not gonna say no. You know, that's
Yeah.
that's cool. That's
Yeah, and a
cool.
lot of those opportunities are paid too. So,
Yeah. So it works out for you at the end.
and I also, yeah, it does. And recently I had the chance to go to PAX East, which um was really, really awesome. I remember being super nervous because one, I was running on no sleep at all. Yeah, and luckily I had my darling with me there to like kind of keep me sane. But I was running on no sleep. I was anxious as all hell. I'm like, oh my, talk to weird people out, blah blah blah. What was the point of printing out these business cards? But yeah, I talked to people. I kind of considered my interest in games first before anything, and I think when it comes to networking, it's really like you need to not be annoying because it's really easy to cross that line of like being desperate for work. And of course, we need work, but you don't want to be annoying either.
Yeah.
Like nobody's just wants somebody to beg them like, "Oh my god, give me work, please. You need a voice actor. Hi, hello, I'm here."
Yeah, no, it's a thin line, and it sort of sometimes is hard to figure out where to stand because it's so thin, and you have to be so
Exactly.
careful. Yeah, I get you. I definitely
Yeah.
get you. And let me.
And I
ask
guess
you,
at this point,
what were you gonna say?
I guess at this point, I've kind of decided that it's better to just do you and
Right.
do the work that you have and have that show off rather than really pursuing work. I mean, you could go out of your way to market, but eh, it's better to just do you, I think.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you for letting us know that. I think um, that is something that a lot of people forget about sometimes. Because definitely, like I say it all the time to everybody, you can't do this for the money. You have to do this because you want to. So.
Or you could do it for both.
Oh, you
because,
can do it
you
for
need a
both.
living.
Yeah. But I mean, when you first
But
start. Yeah.
First and foremost, you want to like it has to be a passion, and then the passion becomes a thing. So,
Right,
yeah.
there we go. You said it perfectly. And one of our another question we have is from Cece. She has really two good questions, so we'll just flow with them a little bit. She asked, when first starting with a recording company, what are some essential things to have with you for the first recording and/or meeting?
Recording company like an
I feel like
agency,
yeah,
or-
no, I think she means I think she means just like when you get a job with someone, like let's say you get casted into something. What is the first thing that how does the first recording go? How's the first meeting go? What do you try to bring to the table the first time you talk to someone when you first get a gig?
I mean, your audition. Like they either heard something or they heard exactly what they wanted in your audition. So whatever you had in the audition, you bring that to the table. Gosh, I just be courteous, just be friendly. Professionalism is good, but you also don't need to be super uptight. Yeah, I mean, just be good on your deadlines, get things done before the deadline. Make sure that you're giving the equal to the performance of your audition, because if you're giving less in your audition, then you're essentially like you know ruining what they expected of you, and that
Right.
might cost you a job,
Yeah.
because they might still keep you for that gig, but then afterwards they might not consider you again. And yeah, I mean, the audition is essentially the job itself, so just do what you did in the audition and you should be fine afterwards. And also always make sure to follow any directions they give you. Like if they tell you to record things in a very particular way, do it, and if you can't, then figure out how you can.
That was actually the next question. Because then Cece asks,
yes.
what was the most strange direction you got from a director while recording? And how were you able to record
Strange
it?
direction. Oh gosh, I don't do enough live sessions, but I feel like if there was something, it was probably in Ghost Song because I remember having a session there, but I can't think of anything. Sorry.
It's okay. That's totally fine. I think I just.
Oh
Uh-huh.
no, sorry, I just thought of something. Okay, not so much in session as it was in one of the Afmouse scripts actually. Basically, what we were supposed to do was just meow constantly, and that was the weirdest thing I ever had to do. Was just constantly meow for a straight minute, and you're trying not to get mixed up with the word, and also trying to still be Lucinda, but also meow, and also keep it interesting for a minute. And yeah, that was one of the weirdest things I ever had to do.
That's funny. That's funny too that you started saying meowing because my cat just started meowing at the same. Maybe she heard you say meow. Maybe that. And let's keep going with the questions. We have so many. So Serenity Sky. Yeah, Serenity Sky says, Anairis, what is your favorite thing about Lucinda, and how much do you relate to her? Also, I am a huge fan of your work. Aww.
Oh, thank you. Oh man. Okay, what is my favorite thing about Lucinda? I like that she's been strong and independent. I think so far she's the only character that hasn't been dealing with any romance. Which a part of me is a little sad because I'm a bit of a romantic, and I also low-key have my own shippings that I want for her. But at the same time, she doesn't need it, and I think one of my favorite things is that she was in a bad relationship with Ivan, her ex who had cheated on her, and she moved on from that, and she didn't look back. Like, even when he was begging to have her back, she was like, no, I'm gonna do better than you, and I will continue to do better than you. So I really respect that firmness and knowing exactly what she wants and what she needs. Which I remember that was like one of the first things that I could relate with her on, because I also had bad ex. Cheated, and so when I read that script, it happens.
It does.
But
sadly.
Yeah, unfortunately. But I remember like that exact situation where you're being manipulated, and when you love the person but then they betray you anyway, and maybe they didn't even love you in the first place, and romance is hard and rough and whatever, but I guess I could relate to having one of your first loves be such a bad experience.
Right.
And that was one of the first things that I could relate with her on, and slowly helped my relationship with her character.
And that's definitely a strong way to start. Definitely, when you have so much feelings for that one thing that's going on, and that just helps you get with the character like 10 times quicker. Understand on the level that many people don't understand, that when you start reading for a character, you start becoming that character somehow.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
Like at first it's like, okay, I'm doing this character, and then the more you do the character, the more you learn about the character. You just, I don't know, you make that character person. The person's kind of you, but not weird.
Yeah, no, I totally get you. So Ghost FX asks, what is your strongest and weakest accent, and how do you try to improve on them?
Shoot, I think my strongest one is probably, I don't want to say it's my British one, because I have a British boyfriend who loves to call me out.
He's like, you're saying it wrong.
Yeah, but he'll school me sometimes. I guess my American accent's the best.
That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah, but my weakest though, I cannot do a French accent for the life of me.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. I don't know
That's
how
funny.
you do those noises with the back of your throat. Like I can't do it. I can't do the accent. I can't emulate it. It's so hard for me.
There's actually on CCC, they're looking for a French accent for one of the roles. It's for one of the CCC casting calls, and I was like, man,
Hmm.
there's not a lot of people who can do it because it's so difficult. That's definitely a difficult.
Oh, are you
accent.
talking about Diamond Heart?
Yes, that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I know she's having a hard time finding somebody because like French accent.
That's
Hard.
so difficult.
Ugh.
It's so
Yeah.
so difficult. And let's go on. So Daft, our lovely Daft, has quite a big question there for us. So let's go slowly through it because
Ooh.
I see a lot of question marks. So we're gonna do one at a time. All right, let's do that.
Okay.
So he says, I wish to pose a query to our most esteemed guest. What are your thoughts on the voice talent industry as a whole that you and many of the members of the server are such an integral part of?
Okay.
That's a big question.
We're gonna keep it there. Okay. So, what are your thoughts on? Mhm. I think that it has changed a lot since I started. And I think it's changed for the better because, well, okay. First off, we started with Voice Acting Alliance, right? And that was a good way of getting information, connecting, and all that stuff. And then eventually everyone just started doing like clicks and everything, and then everyone wasn't as connected as before, especially after VAA closed down, and it's like the only way anyone could talk to each other was over Facebook, which not everyone does. And then we have the casting call club coming back up, and we have voice acting, and our voice acting club, and it's gotten more educational, especially because you have people who are part of the VAA who are pro VAs now, but they're still kind of in the semi-professional field, like guiding people and giving their advice because they've literally been in the same position. And then you have the new people that get so much good advice from people who are literally in their same positions early on, and that helps them grow. So I think it's definitely changed a lot and grown to a point where everyone's looking out for each other. And
I do feel that.
I don't know, it's a lot more of a family. And there's a lot more respect for everyone, so it's really good.
Yeah, in Twitter, it's such a loving community. It really is. The VA community
Oh yeah.
is so loving. I mean, even the silliest tweets everybody likes it. The follow Fridays are my favorite because everybody's so thoughtful. They're so thoughtful. Everybody's, I never used to do them, and then when I first started voice acting, it had just started. Someone just tagged me in a follow Friday, and I hadn't even done maybe I did one thing, and they were tagging me on a bunch of stuff, and it's so fun because networking is such a big thing in the VA community.
Yeah,
it's great. It really
and
is.
it's easier now.
Oh yeah. I bet it is. And let's keep on with Daph's very large question. So he says, do you believe that it is contracting, expanding, or perhaps simply stagnating with the talents of actors and actresses already part of it being recycled through roles across the industry? I know what he means.
When I started off, you had the classic or the constant pool of voice actors being used in the professional industry, at least in the anime industry that I was paying attention to.
Right.
And that was Vic Mignogna, Caitlin Glass,
Tara was big on that one too.
Oh, Tara Strong's always been a strong one. Yeah, and all those other people, and just constantly using those voice actors, which isn't a bad thing. But I do think it was a little harder for people to kind of break that cycle. And now I think it's changed a lot, especially because Funimation has been taking on a lot of new talent, and I think well, no, it's not even so much that they're taking new talent, it's the simuldubs that has changed the industry. And I do think that starting off with anime voiceover is probably the easiest way to get into voiceover at this
Right.
point, because there's open auditions, and you have to be in the location, but it's not so much competition in Texas as it is in California, and I think it's easier to get into the industry from there. And because of the simuldubs, there's just constant need of crew and casts that you have people who recently started doing voiceover for Funimation, now doing casting. So there's not so much recycling lately. It's just constantly accepting new people so that everything will run smoothly. So now is a really good time to be voicing for Funimation and trying to get your foot in the door.
Yeah,
Um,
and now that technology is booming practically, there's so much need for like voiceovers for like commercials, little tech apps. Like
oh yeah.
now I see a huge rise in those like little sim dating, the little anime sim dating things, like my wizard heart or whatever, or like random sims. I see them all the time now, and they're everywhere because it's just being used. The telephone era is the iPhone era practically is huge at this point. At this point, kids are born into
Oh
technology.
yeah.
And it is helping us. It is helping us voice actors have a lot more work. And definitely now, I feel like after Kanye said that he liked anime, now it's like this huge thing, and now everybody wants anime, and now and that helps Funimation, like you said that, you know, now Funimation and just any any other company that's working on dubs is getting so much more work in their hands because now many people I get from my friends all the time, hey Yenny, yeah, I know you watch anime a lot, which I used to. I don't do that anymore, sadly. I don't have time. And they're like, hey
Ooh,
Yenny,
same.
give me a list of animes that you watch. And so imagine if they're asking me the anime industry is just gonna go up from now because now everybody wants it because Kanye wanted it. So that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and not even just that. Like the indie industry has been growing a lot more lately too. I mean, you have um PlayStation, or Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo all contributing to or giving a market for indie games. And since indie games have a platform, now they're looking for more um assets, and some of those assets include voice acting. So I mean, it's not always a guarantee that you can get a role in the game, just because
Right.
sometimes the game might not call for it. But I think there's more of a connection between the professional and the semi-professional slash indie community. And now doing remote recordings is easier. Having that connection into the pro world is easier. So things are a lot easier than they used to be. So yeah.
Nice, nice. Thank you for that explanation. And I feel like it pumped up a lot of people right now. Because sometimes I feel like a really big thing, and it's a question that I'm kind of surprised I haven't seen today, and it's one that comes out a lot. So I'll bring it out since we're talking about it. The rejection. Because for every like 10 auditions, you'll probably have like a lot of rejection for it. I feel like sometimes you go through high seasons and you go through low seasons of being casted
Oh yeah.
into different things. And for everybody out there, I think I really do enjoy asking this question. It's how do you stay positive and how do you continuously stay in voice acting even when you're going through a rough patch?
I remember I used to be a bit more sensitive to rejection. I think growing I wouldn't say growing skin, but um getting used to it happens, because if you don't keep auditioning and keep working towards the goal, and of course remembering why you do it in the first place, then yeah, it's going to be hard. And rejection's always hard no matter what. Nobody um not getting accepted. And I guess right now I have this thing where I want to make sure that I do an audition or several auditions every day. Um, and I'll spend the time needed for that audition, make sure that I feel confident in it, send it off, and then I will immediately move on, not look back on it. I don't want to think about it again. Not because I don't care about it, but because dwelling on it is going to make me that much more attached to it. And then it makes it harder to deal with the rejection. Um, but, sometimes I might be really tired and I'm thinking about an audition that I need to send in, but I only have like an hour left and I could still send it in, but also I'm tired and I don't like I'm not gonna do like my 100% best. But then I'm like, oh, but who knows? I might get this gig, so I'll audition anyways. And it's just perseverance and reminding yourself why you love the craft. If you're getting a lot of rejection, remember that what you have right now, and like I think like recently I was feeling a bit down because oh no, I'm not getting as much auditions as I have been. But then I'm looking back at all the work I've been getting lately, and I'm like, oh, well, you know what? I'm not doing bad at all. And it's a bit of a slow period, but that happens. It's normal. It's just pushing through it and making do.
Nice. Thank you for that. That was really nice. Talk about it because I just feel like positivity is. It's such an easy word to say, but it's a very hard word to feel sometimes. And
Oh yeah,
definitely
yeah.
that's a great way to look at things. So kudos to you and for everybody listening. Take heed of the words that are being said tonight. Try your hardest and continue to pursue even if it doesn't look so good. There's always some light at the end of the tunnel. So, and let's go on to our next. Let's kind of bring this back up a bit. Let's go on to our next question, and that's from Crafty Matt. And Matt asks, if you could voice act in any game, what would you choose? Which would you choose?
If Undertale ever got a English or voice acting patch, I would want to be down for that. Like I would be there, I'm there, hello, see all these little fanned up things I did. But aside from that, gosh, either the Persona series or the Nier Drakengard series. That would be what I want to be a part of.
And next up we have Smorgy Guy ask, what are some great ways to gain connections in the voice acting realm that could help you progress?
I mean, it's kind of like what I said early, well, voice acting realm. Okay. I think as long as you're persevering and having out there and making sure that you're doing good work, making sure that you're making a good impression on every client that you work with, not just, professionally, but also as a person, so that, I mean, you'd be surprised. I mean, I was personally surprised of how, word gets around of my abilities or who I am. I'm so focused on my work, I don't even think that other people pay attention, honestly. But people do, and you'd be surprised at how much word gets around about your work ethic and about your talent in communities. And it could always lead to more work, or it could always lead to, making really good connections with fellow voice actors. I think the important thing is that if you want to make connections with other voice actors, I mean, think of it as making a friend more than anything else. Always respect, if they have more experience than you, and just be natural, be you. I think overthinking it is a big reason why sometimes relationships fall through, or any attempts to make a relationship falls through, because you're overthinking it and you're like, oh no, I need to impress senpai.
Yeah,
and it's hard. I get it, especially when you have like social anxiety. I have that, so I get it. I do. It's just keeping yourself in check and just making sure that you're being natural.
Awesome. And then our last question of the night is from Assassin Eric, and he asks, what kind of roles have you done? So I guess if you could give us just like a whole spectrum, like what type of roles have you had?
Oh gosh, you're talking about my typecasts. I've done a lot of things, especially like I think my typecasts have changed over the years because when I was younger, I had the voice. My voice was essentially Rini from Sailor Moon, like the English dub.
Oh.
That was literally my voice.
Oh.
So I used to do like a lot of kid roles, and now it's gotten into me doing a lot of sarcastic roles or a lot of deadpan roles, but it's not just that. I also have energetic characters, and I think energetic characters are always a typecast that I consistently have because I can get really energetic. And lately I've been doing a lot more accents, Spanish accents in particular, and I've been playing
Yes.
more ethnic roles, which has to do with my race, I imagine.
Yeah.
Sultry roles, very positive roles like Mirari from QT Pressures.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
feel like
kind of
we
all over
all
the place, so I never get bored.
you definitely get into a niche too, and it's very easy to fall into that niche. And I said that was gonna be the last question, but Xander asked another good question, which is, do you have a niche? Do you have a niche that you usually search for more than more than anything? Like you're like, this role is a role that I can do well with my eyes closed, blindfolded.
Hmm. Um, I, I mean, probably. I mean, definitely sarcastic or deadpan characters. I know I can do really well, but I also always like to challenge myself. As long as it's not a French accent, I like trying any role that there is and seeing and experimenting with it. And trying to do my best within the role. So I guess that's why I can't really say I have a very specific typecast, just because I constantly try to push out of that typecast.
Right.
So I challenge myself constantly. So
Oh, definitely.
probably
Great.
probably deadpan characters, but
Yeah, I can see it. I can hear it. I can hear it. That's awesome.
I hate myself. I want to die.
I really
Yeah, go.
enjoyed this whole hour with you, Anairis. You are so talented, and
Thank you.
honestly, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule with the series and the Minecraft role plays to any other gigs that you currently have and projects that you're working on, including what you're writing. And the fact that you're a Disney princess on the side is crazy to me. And it's amazing at the same time. And, like we spoke about before, being a Latina, it's so nice to see another sister out there doing great. And
Yeah.
we really here at CenterStage, all of us, the team at CenterStage, as well as everybody listening into the Twitch stream, thank you so much for joining us in today. And we really enjoyed every single minute with you. It was great to have all these people ask so many questions and to hear your side.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, to hear everything. So, I mean, do you have any final words that you'd like to say before we wrap things up?
Thank you so much for having me. The script reads were a lot of fun. Everyone did a fantastic job, and you guys have really good instincts, and make sure to build on those instincts because that is definitely what will help you with cold reads, which you'll have to constantly do for auditions, so that's always good. Thank you for having me and asking me questions and challenging me a bit because there's some things that I don't think about very often. And yeah, if you want to follow me, I'm most active on Twitter, Anairis or at Anairis _Q. And then also my website, which is anairisq.com. And yeah, thank you so much, guys.
Awesome. I'll go ahead and post those down, or if you want, you can go ahead and post those down. We can chat a little bit.
Sure.
For everybody listening on the Twitch stream, thank you so much for joining us. Anairis and I are so glad to have had you listen in and given your questions. We will see you soon, and you can catch Anairis on AFMAO's YouTube. And is there any new role that you have that's coming out soon that you'd like to market real quick?
Well, I am voicing a magical girl. Her name's Anna. And she's part of Nova Girls, which is a game. I think it's on Twitter. If you look up Nova Girls underscore game, you can see more about that. And there's another role that I can't talk about just yet, but keep on the lookout for it because it's gonna be really fun and magical.
Yay! That's so awesome. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night. I know you and I are in the same we're in the same schedule and it's almost 11 and we're tired ladies.
I'm gonna watch more Once Upon a Time Netflix
Oh
for
my
days.
goodness. Yes. All right, guys. Thank you so much for everybody listening. And Anairis, I love you. Thank you so much for coming once more.
I love you too.
Oh, and John
Te amo.
Alibi Z. Oh, yo te quiero también mucho, mucho, mucho. And Alibi Z, our esteemed leader in CenterStage, says thank you so much for joining us tonight. He really appreciates you coming and reading with us. So one last time, goodbye.
Thank
my
you.
dear. Nos vemos pronto.
Good.
Good night, everybody.
Nos vemos. Good night, guys.